Hi, I'm Alison Heath, the Longevity Rescuer and host of the EMF Summit. I get a question asked to me a lot, and that is, why can I not get pregnant? And it's very interesting because the other day I was speaking to this young woman who makes all these beautiful natural deodorants and creams and so on, and she was telling me that she's been trying to conceive for a while now and isn't able to. And she said, I get this funny feeling when I put my laptop on my lap, and I feel this feeling all around my ovaries and so on, this sort of tingly feeling. Well, what she didn't understand was that she was subjecting her eggs to EMF radiation. They thought for a while, because it was non-thermal, which means that it doesn't heat up like the way that a microwave would heat food in it. It's non-thermal, so they thought that there was no danger with that. But you'll notice that they don't call them laptops anymore. They call them personal computers. And there's a reason for that. There have been a number of studies in Europe, some in North America too, where they have looked at the sperm from men who have their laptop on their lap. It is having a direct effect. It's damaging the sperm. Some of the sperm count is lower than it should be. Some of the sperms are deformed. They have two tails and so on. Some of the sperm aren't able to move and swim toward the egg the way that they normally would. So we're getting a lot of men now who are infertile. They're unable to make a baby in the first place. And then we have the same thing happening on the female side. There are estrogen mimickers, a lot of toxins that are in the personal care products that we use, that are in the plastics and so on in our environment that we're using, that are causing a disruption in our hormones and that are affecting our infertility. There's also the area of EMF radiation that hasn't been looked at deeply. Studies are happening now, and they're showing that this is actually happening, but the public isn't necessarily aware of it. Dr. Sam Milham, who's one of the leading world experts in epidemiology, what he has said is that if he saw or heard that a woman was pregnant, he would just take her and he would move her into the boonies, and he would protect her that way from EMF radiation. Be very aware of what is affecting your fertility. Not all the doctors are aware of this. They'll tell you don't smoke, don't drink, and so on, but they won't tell you to avoid using your cell phone. They won't tell you to get the cordless phone out of your bedroom, out of your house, in fact, if you want to conceive. They won't tell you many of the different things, like don't put a laptop on your lap. Don't use wireless. Use an Ethernet cord. Plug in your computer. Get Stetzer filters to clean up the dirty electricity. These Graham-Stetzer filters can eliminate a lot of the low-level radiation that you're being exposed to by the wires in your house and coming from your outlets. This is something you need and want to be aware of if you're serious and you want to conceive and you want to have a healthy baby. And once you do deliver your baby, avoid so many of these products that are damaging our baby. Because when we have water amplifies the radiation from electromagnetic fields. When you consider how much our bodies are made of water, and when you consider that this little young baby has this very fragile and delicate skull, you don't want that baby playing with a cell phone. You don't want that infant having a cell phone up to their head. And you don't want a baby monitor in your room unless it's voice activated. And we're not able to get those in North America. They're available in Europe, but don't put a baby monitor in the room with your baby, because sleeping is the most important time when that baby is developing. And that's the time when it's getting radiated, pulse radiation coming at that poor little baby. They also have now little pacifiers, soothers, a little sus that you put in your mouth. It has a radio transmitter and a thermometer. So it's constantly taking the temperature and it's sending that back to your phone if you're worried about your baby's fever. This is something that Dr. Magda Havas was telling me about. Avoid a thing like that, because all that saliva is going to amplify the radiation, and your little baby is going to be fried with radiation inside its little head. This is really not something you want to do. They have diapers now. Diapers will signal to your phone if your baby's diaper is wet. That is such a negative thing. It should be outlawed, because what's happening is the wet diaper is again amplifying the radiation, and you're going to run the risk of having your baby be sterile. These are things that you definitely want to be aware of. You want to know what's going on, and I invite you warmly to join me on the EMF Summit, because we're going to be talking to so many of these experts. You're going to be able to find out more so that you can know what's there, what's out there, and what's harming us. These are really important issues. You may not be aware of the smart meters that are rolling out across the globe. And what's happening is a lot of times those smart meters are taking the place of the analog meter, which is on the outside wall of where your child is sleeping. Your child is going to have this pulsed radiation coming at them frequently. Now, Dr. Milham was saying that if he found out that a woman was pregnant, what he would do is he would just take her off to the boonies and get her clean from all of the electromagnetic radiation. Protect her baby, and he said, I would end child leukemia, it would end ADHD, and so on. These are important things to know. Please, if you are serious and you want to get pregnant, understand what's stopping you. If you are pregnant, understand what can be causing spontaneous abortions to happen, miscarriages of your baby. There was a whole bank where one of the tellers called Graham Stetzer to come in and clean up the bank, because she said, all of the tellers, we can't get pregnant and we're having miscarriages and things are going on. There's something wrong with this building. So he came in and he put Graham Stetzer filters everywhere. And lo and behold, what happened there was that a year later, the bank manager called him very irate and said, I don't know what I should do with you. All of my tellers are off pregnant. So they were all off on maternity leave. So you see, the thing is, once you do clean up the dirty electricity, once you do lower your EMF radiation exposure, everything can change. You can conceive again very rapidly if that is what is barring you from having your baby. Be aware. Join us on the EMF Summit. Listen to these wonderful world experts. Pay attention, because you know something? Your life is at stake. The life of your baby is at stake. The health of your whole family rides in the balance of you having knowledge. You don't need to be afraid of technology. You can use technology, but you need to use technology intelligently, so that you're not exposing yourself and your baby and your family to very dangerous radiation. Come and join us on the EMF Summit and learn more. And with that, I wish you the best year yet.